Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. This podcast is going to walk you through my journey into mediumship and how I came to realize that I could communicate with souls that have passed over. My adventure started just over a year ago when unusual situations started happening to me. It wasn't until I really started to pay attention to them that it all started to come together. I wrote down everything that I was experiencing this past year in a little black book, and this podcast is going to be a recap of all of those memories leading up to where I am today in my mediumship journey. I will be releasing new episodes every Tuesday, and I recommend listening to the podcast in order, starting with episode 1, as my story will unfold more week by week. If you would like to stay connected with me, follow me on Instagram at mediuminthemiddle. Hello everyone! Welcome to episode 51. Welcome back if you are a listener. Welcome if you're new. My name is Stephanie and I am the medium in the middle. So it is on my to-do list to redo my intro because we're over 2 years since my little black book, since my experience started. We're over 1 year in the podcast. So a lot has changed and grown and developed. So I want to redo my intro. I remember the pain that I went through to get that intro. And to be honest, I'm scared to do it again. But we are in a new year of podcasting. So a new intro is needed because it's been more than a year. And I want the listeners to know that. In today's episode, I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about mentorship, how to find a spiritual mentor, what a mentor can do for you, my experience with mentorship, how I found my mentor. I have a few stories within that journey, and I think it's important right now because I've been feeling the vibes of people are looking for help. People are looking outside of themselves for answers. Akashic records right now are very popular, and I feel like it's just the season, what's happening all around the world is people are wanting support. And if you are out there looking for someone, or if you're just interested in why people get mentors or why they look to others to help them grow, this is the episode for you. Before we begin, I would like to pull a card for you guys. So I always pull from the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map deck. I do still really love this deck, and I just wanted to give some maybe guidance for how to pull a card. So you shuffle your cards, and I like to try to touch every single card to put my energy on it. So as you're shuffling the cards, you shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. You can break, divide. Sometimes I shuffle them for 5 minutes. Sometimes I shuffle them for 30 seconds. Whatever you're feeling you need to shuffle, touch every card, break, divide, cut in half, whatever you need to do. And as you're shuffling, you're thinking of your intention. You're thinking of what you're asking the cards. You're thinking of what you want to know. So while I shuffle the cards for you guys, I'm thinking, what do my listeners need to know? What's a message from the universe we all need to hear right now? What's a reminder that's going to connect with the people who are listening to this episode? So this isn't for everybody everywhere. This is for whoever's ears are coming across this episode. So with that being said, I pulled card number 49, the Talisman. Short description. A lesson truly learned is crystallized as earned wisdom. You have all you need for the success you seek. Ooh, Talisman card. You're talking to me, I know. All right, full card description. Wisdom allows you to recognize traps on the road and familiar patterns that you want to avoid. It also enables you to quickly gather information about where you are on your journey. It helps you recognize your allies and know how to find the best routes along the way. Now you're at a place where you know the right things to do and the best choices to make. You really can't commit a mistake. Whatever your inquiry, great fortune awaits you, for you have the wisdom to arrive at the right decision. You've learned your lesson and earned the right to your success. Woo-hoo-hoo. I like this card because I've been feeling these vibes. There's just My yeses and nos about business has become much more clear recently. I have a very good idea of what I should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and where I need to kind of get the ball rolling and maybe where I need to stop the ball rolling. And for me, it's going to be a lot of Reiki. Reiki is just my jam, and I love it so much. And I'm teaching my first course this weekend online, and then I have 2 more set up. And I was talking with Carrie, actually, who was on the podcast before. She was like, "What is your dream?" And I was like, "Oh my God, to teach Reiki level 1 every 2 weeks." And she was like, "Yeah, me too." And I was like, how amazing would that be if there was enough people who were interested in learning Reiki that I could teach it twice a month? To me, Reiki level 1 is just the greatest gift. It's just incredible. You're learning self-healing. You get your first attunement. You're opening up to energy. You learn so much. I can't say that my Reiki level 1 was life-changing, but what happened after was life-changing. So it was very much the opening, the beginning of the book, the first chapter. And it just started opening my eyes to more things. So I'm not saying that when you do your Reiki, you're going to realize that you can communicate with souls and you're going to be a medium and Reiki's going to be your full-time job, but your intuition might sparkle. Your yeses and nos might become more clear. Your inner wisdom will grow. Your understanding of energies will grow. So I love Reiki, and I just know I need to be doing more with it. I need to be sharing what I know in different ways and making it accessible to other people. And I love teaching, so I also want to get more into teaching. It's just imposter syndrome is very real, and you're like, who am I to be teaching anything? But I know I have wisdom that I can share with others, and people want to learn from me. So more things, exciting things are coming. I have little notes all over my desk of all these great ideas of things that one day I will bring to fruition. And it's definitely going to be more online courses because I can reach more people that way. If I lived in a big city, I would definitely do them in person, but I live in a little small mountain town. So online is the way of the future, and I'm okay with that because you know what? The people that I can connect with on the internet have been incredible, and I'm very fortunate to have you guys, my listeners, in my life. And because of appointments and the internet and Zoom, I can meet you all over the world. Speaking of which, I do appointments online. A distance Reiki and Akashic record readings are available. You can book that on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. It'll be linked down below. I also have information on my website if you want more information on how distance Reiki or Akashic records work, how to prepare your questions. Kind of everything you need to know is on my website. And I also linked a few helpful podcasts, give you more information if you're kind of on the fence about it. Or you can also always send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I get back to everybody. I try my best. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And on the note of the Reiki course, I am launching another course. So my 2 in September have sold out. So I'm launching another Reiki online level 1, October 24th and 25th. And I'm changing the course times so that different time zones all over the world, they're more accessible. I know there was a few people in Australia that were interested, but I don't want you getting up at 3 a.m. to do a course. I want this to be enjoyable. So I'm going to adjust the times, and another course is launching October 24th and 25th. So if you are interested in learning Reiki Level 1, you can register on my website. Registration will be opening on a Wednesday. So the podcast is released on Tuesday. So tomorrow, registration will be open. Link in the show notes for all that as well. Okay, so jumping into today's topic of mentorship, how to find a mentor, if you need a mentor, and my experience with finding help. So I'm going to take us back to 2 years ago, back to the beginning of the podcast when I did my Reiki level 1, things started happening. Then I did my level 2 and more experiences started happening to me. That's when spirit started coming. And I went to my Reiki master and I asked her kind of what was happening. And she said that she was a Reiki master and she didn't really know about mediumship. So this wasn't really in her alleyway. So she could help me with energy, but when it came to souls, that wasn't her thing. I felt like I was kind of left to go find someone else to help me because I had so many questions. I thought that I was the only one experiencing this. I thought that I was the only person who this had ever happened to. I thought I was crazy. I thought I needed to go into a mental institution. I was afraid to tell everyone, but at the same time, it was taking over my life. So I was telling everybody because I just didn't know what to do. And through that, I started looking for someone to help me, someone to give me answers, someone to guide me in a direction, someone to tell me I'm not crazy, someone to understand what I'm going through. And I was Googling and watching videos on YouTube and trying to find people online, but I really didn't find anyone that I resonated with. Everyone was very woo-woo and la-la and fairy, airy, and that's just not my vibe, so I couldn't connect with that. And then I started looking around locally, like was there any local witches I could go talk to? Was there any mediums that I could go talk to? And there were a few in the town that I lived in at the time, but they all were very popular. So they had long wait lists of a year or more, and their hourly rate was very expensive. So now I had to consider, am I willing to pay someone between $200 and $500 for an hour of their time so I can ask them questions when they might not even have the answers for me? And do I want to invest this money in just getting answers? So there was a lot of that, a lot of researching, a lot of asking other people, do they know anyone? And to be honest, that led me to a lot of dead ends because not very many people know a medium or no one really has a psychic as their neighbor. Again, I went back to the internet and I started looking for circles or meetings or something that I could go and attend. I found this app where you could type in your interest and they would kind of bring you up different things that you could attend. So different meetings, different events, different circles. And I found this circle. I forget what it was called, but I think it was something about spirituality. And the people who ran it also ran this bookstore. And I was like, okay, you know what? It's by donation, so this isn't going to cost me much money. I'll just go, and it's only about 45 minutes from my house. I have to try something. So I had a friend that agreed to go with me, and we went to this circle, and I was so excited because I'm like, I'm going to get answers. These people are going to be like me. These people are going to understand, and this is going to be amazing. So I was really excited to go. I went in. The hosts seemed normal. They were like pretty cool people. The space was really cool. They had turned this old house into their office essentially, but like they had different rooms for different things. So it was really cool. We sat in the living room. I met a few other people there and they seemed normal. So the circle started and we all went around and kind of explained who we are, why we're here. And when I told my story, everyone's eyes lit up and they were like, whoa. And then everybody was asking me questions and they all wanted to know about me. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but I'm here for help. Like, I can tell my story over and over again, and I have, which is why I ended up starting the podcast. But I'm here for someone else to help me and to guide me. And everyone was just really interested in the story, and they wanted to ask me questions, and they were inquisitive. So my hope was kind of let down. Then we did an exercise where we all put an item in a bag, and we had to pick someone else's item out of the bag, and then we had to kind of give a reading based on that. There's a word for this, and I forget what it is. Psychometry. So we were practicing psychometry. That was the theme for the day. I was like, okay, I've never tried anything. Let's do it. So we went around the circle. We each put something in the bag. We each pulled something out of the bag, and then we all tried to deliver messages for that person, not knowing who it was. And we all didn't know anyone in the circle anyways, so it wasn't really a big deal. And everyone was just trying. A few girls were like, I got nothing. Like, I can't pick up on anything. A few girls were just making stuff up and nothing resonated. A few things were correct. And then I went and I was for the girl who actually was hosting the event. And she was nodding her head to everything I was saying, but she didn't tell me if everything was right or wrong. So still to this day, I don't know if what I said was accurate. She was nodding her head like yes. So I don't know if that was encouragement. I don't know if that was yes. I don't know if that was just her nodding her head. But the experience was something. Like, I had an okay time. I learned something about psychometry. I gave it a try. And then we kind of had some good conversations. But when I left the circle, it was just not for me. The people there weren't on the same level as me. They weren't experiencing what I was experiencing. They weren't really able to support me. They more were super interested in what was happening to me. So I was like, okay, you know what? I tried a circle. I'm not for me, but I gave it a shot. Shortly after this, I moved to Banff. So I kind of gave up on looking for help because I didn't know where to look at the time. How do you find a witch to help you learn about being a witch? Like, how do you find someone to support you when you think you can talk to spirit? This isn't something that you can just Google and it pops up. Now that I'm in the community, it is much easier to find help and support, and there are mentors everywhere. But how do you know who's good? How do you know who's for you? How do you know what you need? This is what I want to talk about based on my experience. So I moved to Banff, and literally I'm driving to Banff, and I get this message from a friend who lives in Vancouver being like, hey, Steph, you're driving to Banff. I had kind of told her what had happened, what I had been experiencing with spirit. She said, you have to meet my friend, and she's actually doing a Reiki level 3. Like, here's her number, message her to hang out. I'm sure she could help you. At first I was like, that's kind of weird. I'm going to message a random person and be like, hey, so-and-so gave me your number. But then I was like, no, like, this is normal. Like, she's a good friend of mine and she's a good friend of hers. So I'm just going to message this chick and be like, yo, so-and-so gave me your number. I'm moving to town. Like, do you want to meet for coffee? I heard we have a lot in common and maybe you can help me. So we end up meeting up. She tells me about her Reiki level 3 course. I sign up for it right away because I was like, this is perfect. I was told that she channels like I do, so I felt like I could get a lot of answers from her, and the course just like happened to work out on a day that I could have off. And I asked Lois, and Lois said it was okay. So I ended up meeting this girl and seeing if she was for me. And it turns out that she is a channeler. So it's very different than talking to spirit. She kind of talks to higher realms. So although we could connect on a lot of different levels, and she did support me in growing and answering some questions, she wasn't the same and she didn't go through the same experience as me. So I was kind of like, oh, like, again, someone who's not like me but similar, and, you know, like, that's not what I'm looking for. So my hunt continued. So then, because I was new to town in Banff, I had lived here before for 4 years, but I was kind of re-seeing everybody and telling everybody what I'd been experiencing, because now it had been a few months. And it had really taken over my life at the beginning. I was like, whoa, I'm a medium, but I wouldn't say that I was a medium. So as I'm seeing all these new people in Banff and they're asking what's new, I'm telling them about all my mediumship experiences and all my stories with spirit. And they're like, whoa, like, you need to go see this lady in Canmore. Probably in the first week that I lived in Banff, like 10 people told me that I had to go see this woman in Canmore. And I was like, okay, like, after the 10th time, every single person is telling me to go see this woman. I'm going to go see her. So I go on her website and you can't make an appointment. Everyone's like, she has the longest wait list. Just add your name to the wait list. So I say, okay. So I emailed to get my name added to the wait list. And I was like, you know, it's not my time to see her now. I'm going through a lot. Me and Joe had just broken up. I had just moved across the country. I had just gotten a new job. I had just realized I was a medium. Everything was going on. I was like, I can't deal with a development, partnership right now, but I know I'll need help soon when this all settles, probably early next year. So I asked to be on her wait list. And as the months are going by, I start to know that it's my time to see her soon. So I start to email, like, how long's the wait list? How much longer? I know I'm going to need to see her soon. And then I start to email, like, now's my time. I need to get an appointment with this woman in Canmore. We'll call her Lily. Finally, I get an email back from Lily's assistant, and it says, hey, we have an appointment on Tuesday available from a cancellation. Do you want it? And I wasn't working, and I was like, yes, I'll take it. Like, it all just perfectly worked out. It was like 3 days later. So I go to Lily and she kind of says, hi, nice to meet you. She's like, how'd you get an appointment with me? And I said, oh, I emailed your assistant. She says, I'm not taking new clients. I haven't been taking new clients for a very long time. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I know that you needed to see me. So I just knew that I had to get an appointment with you. And she was like, okay. So we had one session together and I just fell in love. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's perfect. She does energy the same way I do. She talks about it normally. She's just the perfect amount of woo woo. You can tell she's been doing this for years because her systems are just down pat. And I was like heart eyes and obsessed. And I was like, she's just incredible. So a few months later, I end up getting another session with her. And this time I kind of read for her when she's working on me. And her eyes kind of peer up and she's like, how'd you know that information? And I was like, well, I don't really know how. I just know. We ended up having an experience where her dad came through the second time. And she was like, that was the strongest my dad has ever come through with anyone. So she was really impressed. And I was like, oh, well, like this has been happening to me all the time. And she said, he was here last time too. Like, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, well, because you're Lily. Like, you're so well known in town. I'm not about to tell you that your dad's here. Like, you know he's here. So after that, I had a dream. It was 3 times or 5 times that Lily would be my mentor and that she would help me. She was the one that I needed to learn from because we were so similar and because I loved the way that she worked. She just had her systems down pat. There was no BS. There was no foo-foo. I was like, she's the one. So after I dreamt about her 3 or 5 times, it was an odd number. I sent an email and I said, the worst thing that can happen is she doesn't answer my email or she says no. The best thing that can happen is she says yes. So I write her this email. I tell her about my dreams and I ask her if she can mentor me. You have to email her assistant. So I emailed her assistant and she said, you know what? I'm going to forward this right to Lily and let her read it. Weeks go by. To be honest, I forget about it. Then one day I get an email from Lily and it says, hey, Steph, like, let's discuss this. Like, let's go for a walk and talk about it. What are you thinking about? And I instantly knew I was in. I'm like, she's going to say yes. She has interest. Like, I'm in. And I was so happy. I was dancing, screaming. I remember I was at work and I screamed. And in the middle of the restaurant, and everyone was like, what? And I was like, Lily just agreed to be my mentor, even though she didn't. But I knew that she was going to. So I was just over the moon, so excited. So we end up sitting down and talking, and she said, okay, you know what? I'm going to charge you the same rate as my hourly rate, which is insane if anyone knows how much mentors can cost. Her hourly rate is less than $200, which is also insane that she doesn't charge so much money. But the fact that she was going to charge me the same rate as her normal rate literally blew my mind. I was ready to pay her so much. And she said that I would just book a normal appointment, but we would do mentorships. And then we decided that I would come with questions, she would recommend books, we would do different activities, and she would kind of assist me. But she was very hesitant. She's like, there's not much that I can teach you. She's like, you have to kind of do your own journey. And I was like, no, I just have so many questions. I think that you can help me with it. And I've talked about a lot of them over the course of the podcast. So she was the one who told me to turn down the volume so that I could go out in public. She was the one who told me that I could ask spirit questions. Like what? I could ask them who they are, what their name is, where they died. I didn't know that I could communicate back with spirit. I thought I just waited for them to tell me things. She told me that I could ask to be left alone, like just literally these life-changing little pieces of nuggets of information that I just didn't know. On my first mentor meeting, I went with my list of questions and she said that after she agreed to be my mentor, she had 3 other people email her about mentorship. And she was like, no, like if I'm going to try something new, I'm only going to do it with 1 person, not 3. She's like, but you emailed me right at the right time. And I was like, I know, because you're meant to help me. So this was about a year ago now. So we've had about 3 or 4 sessions together, not a lot. I go once every 3 or 4 months. She is still very hard to get an appointment with, so it's not like I could go see her that often. And sometimes we do mentorship, sometimes we do body work, sometimes we do a little bit of both. But it was just incredible to have this connection with someone where I loved the way that she worked and she could teach me things that I wouldn't know without her telling me. So I knew that she was the mentor for me because I liked the way she worked. Her systems are down pat. The way that she delivers information, her moral, ethical code about things she'll say, things she won't say, her standards of what she accepts, what she doesn't accept. Just everything that she has been doing for so many years. It was just incredible that she took me under her wing and taught me all the things that she knows. The last session that we had, it was actually during COVID. We ended up just having like a video chat, and I had a feeling that this was the last time. And I was like, this is coming to an end. Like she's kind of held my hand for as long as she can down the road, but now it's time for her to let me go. And she didn't charge me for it. She said, we're just two friends chatting. And I was like, oh, like Lily, you have no idea. And then, so it was a really beautiful ending. And I think like my time with her is done. It's been a year. She's taught me a lot. But yeah, now it is my time to go on my own. She can't tell me everything, but she definitely helped me wrap my head around a lot of stuff when I was having a very difficult time accepting what was happening to me. So through all these experiences, I've learned a lot. I've also looked into what other people offer for mentorship and coaching. So I want to kind of offer what I've learned in how you select a coach or how you select someone to help you. You need to relate with the way that the person works and how they would teach you. So for example, there's some people, I have another friend who was looking for a coach, and she was sending me a lot of them when she was looking at them. And I still remember this one girl, she ended up choosing her. I just couldn't handle her energy. She was way too high. She was way too fast talking, all over the place. Like, I don't need someone that's super high energy. I'm already pumped up enough. I need a realistic person that's going to have an intelligent conversation with me and just give me little pieces of information. I don't need to be supported from morning till night. I need to talk to you once every 4 months to just keep me going on the same path. So she needed something very different. She wanted someone to be there at 9 a.m. when she had a question, and at 2 p.m. when she had a question, and at 9 p.m. when she was freaking out. And I couldn't even handle someone around me that much or messaging me that much. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. So find someone that kind of matches your energy, matches what you're looking for, and also is going to give you what you need. So if this is someone that only is going to talk to you once a month, but you need someone to talk to you all day, every day, find someone that offers that. There's literally so many people that can teach you what they know. You'll find someone who fits your needs. Second, I would say you have to do a lot of the work yourself. I will repeat, you have to do all of the work yourself. This person is there to support you and ask you the hard questions. They're not going to do anything magical for you. Newsflash, we don't have little magic wands that we can wave that can just let you know all your gifts, let you know how they work, let you know what you need to do with them, let you know how to start a business, let you know how to make money from it. That's your job. Your mentor is going to ask you the hard questions. Your mentor is going to offer you things that maybe you don't see. Okay, well, what about this? Did you consider this? Have you tried this? A lot of the times when I would ask Lily a question, she would just look at me. And I would say the answer that I knew. And she would say, uh-huh. And I would say, and this. Mm-hmm. She never, there was a few times she gave me some big pieces of information, but for most of the time she would just stare back at me. I was paying someone to stare at me to get me to come up with the answers. I was talking to a friend about this a few days ago, where we grow up with a mom and a dad, and they're kind of the people that make all the decisions for us for a big portion of our beginning of our lives. You know, what we eat, what we do, where we go, what we say, can we go here, can we not? We become adults and we lose that kind of guidance, and now we have to do it on our own. But I feel like people are still looking for someone to just tell them what to do all the time still. And you can't look for that in a mentor, because if a mentor is telling you what to do, they're just telling you what they've done, and then you're really not on your own journey. We're not all here to repeat the same things. We're here to help each other learn and grow. So if I've gone through a hardship, of course I want to share my experience with you. But we know this from trying to give anyone advice. It's a lot easier to give advice than it is to get it. And when you receive it, sometimes you need to learn the hard lesson on your own. Sometimes you need to go walk through the mud to know what the mud feels like. I can tell you what mud feels like, but until you feel it, you're not going to know. So I would be very mindful about what you're looking for in a mentor. What are you searching for? What are you wanting? I used to be a personal trainer, CrossFit trainer, and I would coach CrossFit and I would be asked to do personal training all the time. And I never wanted to do it because for me, people who were asking me to personal train, they just didn't want to do the work. They wanted me to do it for them. I can sit there and count for you. I can sit there and tell you how to lift. I can sit there and tell you what the best movement pattern would be. I would sit there and tell you what to do in between when you see me now and when you see me again a week from now. But if you don't do the work, you're not going to get results. And I would get so frustrated that people weren't doing the work. And for an hour a week when they saw me, they thought that I would just change their lives. It's like, sorry, if you've been eating like crap for the past 6 days and you've gained weight and now you're wondering why our 1 hour session last week didn't change your life, there's not much I can do for you. So it's similar with clients where you're like, for the mentors, what are you really expecting from them? You need the other person to do the work. You can't just go to the gym for 1 hour a week, eat like crap and never work out for the other 6 days and think that you're magically going to get this incredible healthy body. Doesn't work that way. It also doesn't work that way in mentorship. You can't meet with someone once a week, once a month, once whenever, and expect your whole life to be changed if you're not doing the work in between. This is like a hard lesson that I want to give to you all of you are going to be the one that finds your answers and your discoveries. Someone else is just going to maybe ask you the right question to push you along your way. Someone else might still tell you the big aha moments, like you can talk back to spirit. That one literally changed me. But for the most part, I answered all my own questions, or it was just a look that she gave me where I'm like, yeah, I know, I was just double checking. And that's very human of us to double check. That's very human of us to want to have another opinion. But I would be very clear in knowing your expectations, and you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. When we did the 6-week mediumship course with Danielle, she was really good about that. She's like, I'm not going to be your mom. She's like, you don't want to do the homework? Don't do the homework. You don't want to come to every Friday meeting? Don't come. She's like, you don't want to watch the replay? Don't watch the replay. She's like, don't expect results. You get out of it what you put into it. And it's so true. You can't just sign up for a course and expect you're going to learn. You have to study. You have to be in it. My experience is mentors will definitely help you along the way. They aren't meant to be with you forever. There's always people that you're going to learn from constantly, but really the growth comes from you. So find someone that you resonate with, find someone that you want to learn from, find someone who you like their style because they're only going to teach you what they know and what they've experienced. Okay, sorry for that rant. I get really heated when people expect other people to do the work for them. And it was something that really bothered me in like the gym setting. All those emotions have resurfaced in this conversation. With all that being said, though, there is a coach for everybody. I mean, you need to be constantly learning and growing, and we don't have all the answers. And it's crazy to think that we do have all the answers. So I love that coaches have coaches, and people are always learning from other people. But there is someone for everybody. There's so many different styles of coaching. If you want someone to do all the work for you, I'm sure there's someone out there that will hold your hand along the way. That's just not the style that I would do, which is why when people ask me for help, I'm very weary. I'm like, what do you want from me? What do you need from me? Probably in the same way my mentor was. She's like, what could I possibly teach you? I was like, let me just come. Like, I will guide exactly what I want from you. I just want your wisdom. So I hope this little discussion helped you, maybe opened your eyes into what other people can offer you or why people get coaches and mentors and why we kind of need support, especially in the spiritual community. I think it's not very mainstream. You can't go out and just get a math tutor who helps you with spirit, like you need to find someone you trust and connect with and who understands what you're going through. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, now that I'm in the community, there are lots of people that I connect with. I've said it before to a few people, like I wish I met you a year ago when I was so lost and confused, but until you're in the community, it's kind of hard to know about it. So that's why I always want to grow awareness of my podcast and other people's podcasts because there are some great non-woo-woo people. Danielle, the Squamish medium, the intuitive woman is also another really good one. I love the way Tina talks about energy and being on Instagram, I've met a lot of people where I'm like, oh, you're cool. And you also talk to spirit just like me, and you're normal, and you're 30, and you don't ride around on a broom. Like, let's be friends. So whatever you are experiencing or going through, know that you're not alone, and there's someone else out there, probably 1,000 people going through it as well, and they're here to support you, and there is support and answers to your questions. You just have to find the right person, and really that's the hardest part, is finding the right person. So I would recommend sliding into someone's DMs, watching their videos, listening to them, watching their stuff, reading their website, just like really researching before you commit, because it's probably going to be a big monetary commitment, which I understand because you need to be serious about it. And people take things seriously when they pay for it. And also you're paying for someone's time and energy. And it's not just the hour that they're with you. Like, they probably prep for that hour. They probably prepare. They probably do things in their own development to make them a better person. Like, you're many, many levels of all this, of why I understand that these things do cost more money, and why I feel so lucky that Lily only charged me her hourly rate, which was incredible, and I'm very grateful. So if you've made it this far in my rant, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Next week is episode 52, a full wrap around the sun plus some. So I will be doing a special episode next week, a Q&A and a recap of the past year, and just a really big celebratory episode. 52 episodes is a big milestone for Medium in the Middle that I'm really looking forward to. And I can't believe it's been over a year that we have been online. If you've been with me for the past year, thank you so much. If you're a new listener and you've gotten this far, thank you so much. And again, anything Medium in the Middle, all the links will be in the show notes, Facebook, Instagram, the website, the Reiki course. It will be alive tomorrow. And I will see you all next week for the special birthday episode. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Goodbye.